welcome back to Inside Texas. We're here for some recruiting intel with my main man, Justin Wells. And real quick, guys, make sure that you're hopping on over to InsideTexas.com, taking advantage of that 75% off first year member sale. That's running through all of fall camp. We've extended it time and time again because you guys keep just jumping on ship. Again, don't blame you. Some incredible content over at InsideTexas.com. Thinking Texas football, Paul Wadlington's Texas football perspectives. Make sure you're picking that up. An incredible read, not only on your Texas Longhorns, but the wider SEC in general. And then a major shout out to our friends at Roback for sponsoring today's show. J-Dub, let's get to it. It's Texas high school football season, baby. You're going to have a lot of teams under the lights, whether it be a Thursday night, a Friday night, or a Saturday night of this week. A lot of teams getting kicked off, including a couple of Texas commits. Well, actually, one of the two we're going to mention isn't getting kicked off till next Friday. But first, J-Dub, a massive in-state prospect, number 2 overall tackle in this class, came off the board. Not great news for the Horns, but what does that mean as he's committed to the in-state Texas Tech Red Raiders?
Austin Atala, our boy has some in-state ties. He has some family from Lubbock. He has some family from Austin. He's actually a California kid. He's out there on the West Coast. Number 2 offensive tackle in the country, has an unbelievable frame. I mean, that's the kind of frame you see walking across the stage about 5 years from now at the NFL draft. Like, that's the kind of tackle that Austin Atala is probably going to be. Every offer in the world. He decided he was ready to commit to his future school 2 years from signing day, dropped the top 3 of Texas, Texas Tech, and USC, and he picked the Red Raiders to no surprise. I think that's when everyone kind of knew that was happening. Again, Atala was kind of trending Texas Tech. He has been for a while now. They do have some nice connections there. And of course, we know how Tech's NIL rolls. And so whenever you see Tech in on it for like a 5-star quarterback, just know they have the highest. Usually they'll have the highest offer of any of those guys. And so, Paul had a great quote. Did you see Paul's quote in the thread that I'd started? Basically said, when you're throwing out these NIL offers for these juniors in high school, this is different than when they're seniors. It's different than when they're in the portal. When you're throwing them out as a junior, honestly, the highest offer, you're only competitive to the next dumb offer. Like the dumb, only your competition is dumb enough to throw up a big offer early. And that's exactly what Tech did. They got this kid, though. The recruitment's not over. It never is. He'll still take visits. I actually did catch up with him a little bit earlier today, and he told me that he's now canceling his trip to Texas, Ohio State on September 12th. He's no longer going to take that trip. And that goes with it because, if you commit to Texas Tech, they don't want you taking visits. They damn sure don't want you taking visits to Texas. But let's give that a few weeks. I think that's probably going to wear off at some point, and he is going to wind up taking more visits. But right now, he's canceled. Flood, Texas, Sark, they don't care. They're focused on team right now. Like, they would love to take an offensive tackle in 28 that's going to, could be the floor setter. But that's not what Texas does in late August. They worry about football. They worry about on the field. They're worried about team right now. The recruiting will take care of itself if you take care of yourself on the field. Sark and those guys know that. That's why they don't push for these early recruits. And that's why Austin Atala picked Tech.
Well, there you go, guys. And again, a long way to go in that recruitment. Tech's for now. We'll see exactly how the season plays out and if there any visits are made there. But let's talk about a guy that is committed to Texas who has a very fun Friday night matchup against the South Oak Cliff Bears. Landon Williams-Callis. I mean, you're starting the season off. That's a fun way to start it against a very athletic and talented defense over there. But talk a little bit about Landon. You wrote, in your article, you posted a couple clips from scrimmages that we've got of these young commits. How's he handling fall camp of his own so far?
He's in a great space because his commitment's over. And honestly, that was kind of the thing the last 2 years, that anytime you would go see him, it was always about the recruitment, where are you going to go, things like that. And that wears kids down. It really didn't. It wore him down. Now he's in his element. He's just playing football. He's being Mr. Randall football. They're going to put a statue of that dude out in front of the stadium by the time that he's out of there. I'm eager. I love these early season matchups. So you've got Sock, hosting Landon Williams and Richmond Randall. You've got Lancaster going down I-83 or whatever to North Shore. They're going to Galena Park. So I love those early matchups like that because there's so many good players there. And really, there's a lot of buildup. It's just, you've been around it a lot. You've known it. You've coached. You've played it. You understand it. There's just an intensity about it, and an excitement, almost an anxiousness.
Yep.
When you have these two teams that are really good, Landon Williams is the guy I want to see the most, mainly because I know he's going to have a Longhorn on his helmet, and he was already fun to watch before that. Now that you know he's going to be in burnt orange, he's a little bit more fun to watch. Bryson Thrower. Did you see what my man Bryson Thrower of North Forney did against DeSoto in their scrimmage? Let me tell you something. DeSoto doesn't give up a lot of points. They just don't. That's a program of the programs, okay? Bryson Thrower went in there and had 2 touchdowns and 2 drives. Like it was that. And that's exactly what you want to see from a guy like that. The kid that is criminally underrated in a sense. Like
Agreed.
some revenues, he's 3-star, and some platforms he's a 4-star. That kid is a no-brainer 4-star prospect. Love what he's doing. Love what he looked like. He really put on. He told me he's going to be in Austin for that September 12th game against Ohio State. And then now it's just kind of figuring out the others. I've seen Ishmael Kamara already. I've got a couple other targets I'm going to go see in the next few days for 2028. We'll keep that a little bit low key. But man, yeah, I'm just excited for the season now. And I got to tell you, I'm ready to get through a Thursday or Friday afternoon without the term wet bulb. If I can get through that, I think I'm going to be okay. And I'll give you the craziest example. One of my best friends in the world, he's the head football coach and AD at a local high school. They had a practice a few weeks ago, and he calls me and tells me how great it was. The weather was perfect. It wasn't too hot. You know how that is in East Texas, not too much humidity. Pads were popping. Kids were, the energy was high. He's like, man, we had a great practice. I couldn't have asked for a bit much better. He looks over at the wet bulb deal and goes, it was 2 degrees over what they could have done. And it's just like, oh my God. Like if that is the standard, getting games in is going to be tough. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But hey, Ryan Nelson's got a question, and I'm tired of hearing myself talk.
Well, there you go. Why Brewster, that's Texas Tech commit Jalen Brewster, transferring to Buford, and that is in Georgia, of course, Buford High School over there. He flipping J-Dub? I mean, it's still early in that transfer, but, the question has been asked.
I mean, we said this was going to happen. We said when he committed, like, the recruitment wasn't over, like, that this was going to happen. And I promise you, if Texas wanted to, they could jump into this recruitment and make a whole mess of it as well. There's a lot going on here, Cord. I mean, he has some issues that he's dealing with a local trainer in DFW. He's dealing with some eligibility issues. Maybe Texas Tech paid him too soon. I don't know if UIL was in on that. Someone had mentioned that. Maybe he just wants to relocate to the Peach State. Maybe this guy wants to get closer to his future home, which might be Georgia, matter of fact. Who knows? But I told y'all to expect this, okay? Because this goes with the flow of what this recruitment was always going to be, and that was a circus. It is a complete circus. And so for that, you have to stick around for a long time. I don't think he's going to Texas Tech. I don't think he was going to Texas Tech when he committed there. I think that was a play setter, and I think actually they had the pole position in the NIL at first, and I think it was like the market setter, and that determined how the negotiating was going to go on from there on out. I really like Jalen. I think he's a fantastic football player. I don't think he's the best defensive lineman committed to Texas Tech, if you want to be honest. But I think
go back to what you said early in the show about early offers, and not everybody's going to get involved in that game. But at some point, people are going to get involved, right?
At some point, yes. At some point, you're going to see more and more of these guys get more and more involved. I just don't see Texas in with Brewster. I don't see them. I know they're not. They don't want to. That's a circus they don't want to mess with. Do I think he's going to flip? Yes. I think he winds up signing with or either Georgia or LSU. I think those are going to be the 2 schools. But go ahead.
Oh, there you go. Real quick, guys, just another big shout out to our friends at Roback for sponsoring today's show. You can use code Inside20 at roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's first order only, guys. RHOBACK.com. That discount applies to performance polos, shorts, hoodies, Q-zips, everything over at Roback. So head over to roback.com and use code Inside20 to save 20% off today on a first order. Justin, what's next? You know what I mean? We got David Rawls. He wants linebackers. And again, if you want to talk JJR to linebacker or a solution there, feel free to that. We got a few more questions in here we'll get to also.
Need a linebacker. David's right. Like, David's preaching. We're just here on the pulpit. Like, yes, there need to be linebackers. Here's the beauty, David. Here's the thing that I want you and Texas fans to kind of hang on to about linebackers. It's late August, and Texas is really good at filling out and building a roster, like really good. Give them time. There are going to be a couple linebackers that pop up as late senior evals. They're going to wind up being fantastic. Always are. Texas will be in on those guys. One of them was the kid went to Tennessee last year. Well, I thought was probably the best linebacker in the country. Oh, I miss that kid. That kid was good. Can't remember his name, Braden something. They're all named Braden. Linebacker, you're gonna flip. You're gonna find a couple senior evals, and you're probably gonna try to flip a couple guys. It's just the way it is. And it's a linebacker like Rocky Cummings, exactly. Like you're going to have those late guys. Would you rather have gotten Toa Sateli early? Of course. Would you have rather got Jaden Nelson early? Of course. That didn't happen. This cycle, which is every cycle has its own story, its own angles, didn't do that. This cycle's a little bit different. They'll find linebackers. I love the fact with JJR coming down to play some of that dime backer. I think that's huge. I think that's a great way to use his versatility because he can play the star. He can play safety. He's incredibly smart. What's Gio saying here?
He's with me. He's like linebackers from the portal. I want, a couple homegrown that we have, from the high school ranks, but I'm not against a heavy emphasis on linebacker, portal. Now, if you're doing it correctly, if you're getting guys that have a couple of more years of eligibility, hypothetically, you could have Rasheem Biles for another year. There's those guys out there, so you got to identify them early, and then you got to go win those, portal battles. But what do you think, Jay?
You need a balance. You got to have both. You got to have a mixture of veteran guys. You got to have young pups chomping at those veteran guys. You have to have the homegrown sense. And you do have to have a portal or two guy that's been around the block. Let me tell you something. Every program in college football needs a juice crier. Every single one of them does. And there's only a few there in the portal every year. You have to find them. So I want to mix. I want a better mixture. I want some of these young pups to be chomping at the young guys. And at the same time, I want a couple portal guys that have shot gaps in a major conference for 3 years to come in, because ultimately you're going to need so much depth across the board.
Yeah, you got to have depth, right? And I would
say Ryan Nelson knows. Braden Rouse is going to be an animal. That kid had the absolute best linebacker tape in the country. He was
high praise right there.
He was amazing. I was a big fan of his. They almost got, what's crazy? If they get Rouse, they probably don't get Atkinson.
There's things that work out like that.
That's how that sort of transpired. If you look at the timeline, if they don't get Rouse, if they get Rouse, they may not get Atkinson. I got to tell you, I'm a big Tyler Atkinson fan. I mean, we act up over here at my house. Like we're big Atkinson fan. So it always works out for the best. I saw this thing for Easton Royal. What's our gut? Douglas wants to know what's the gut on Easton Royal. My gut hasn't changed. Cord knows. I've told him probably a dozen times. I think he stays. I think if he was going to flip, he would have already done it by now. I really do. Honestly, I think that kid is tired of recruitment. He just wants to go play football. And as soon as the season starts, that's kept him busy. That's kept him away from social media, away from that toxicity in Baton Rouge that it feels like every sport they have there is trying to create chaos in NCAA. I don't think that's my gut. I think Easton Royal sticks. He absolutely loves Texas. He loves Chris Jackson, and he loves the idea of being a number one receiver in that offense. And so my gut tells me he's going to stick.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean, again, we're going to get our, it's kind of like rule. You have to get at least one Easton Royal question on every recruitment. But I mean, it's a fair question. He's committed, and there's a lot of talk about him at all time. Definitely feel plenty of opportunities for him to go ahead and flip. The closer we get to the season, more in season, he's going to be on campus the 12th. Once he shows up there, I might have that feeling like, hey, this is nothing is ever done in recruiting, right? But it'll feel almost done. Still in good shape with Mr. Micah Rhodes, Mr. Rawls is asking.
Yeah, they're still in good shape with Micah. That one honestly, I'm a big fan of that kid. I think he's probably their number one target in state for 2028, and I think that's going to be a recruitment where they just wave him in when they're ready for him to commit. They'll say, "Hey, we're ready to take your commit," and I think that's when he'll do it. So I think right now Texas is completely setting the pace there. I did like the question Ryan also asked about CJ Whaley. I'm not going to give too much away, but you may have a story about him in the morning to read at InsideTexas.com. You may have that. Now they've got really early practices, really early, crazy early practices. But you know what? CJ Whaley's a priority, and that means he's a priority for Inside Texas, and we're trying to earn your dollar. So actually, we're going to have an update on CJ Whaley in the morning. How good is this prospect? How good does he want to be? And 24/7 has him as the number one rated athlete in the country. I think I think On3 Rivals has him in the number 3, number 4 range. The biggest question for him is going to be, where does he play? He can be effective on either side of the ball. I think he's a natural offensive guy. I think he's a touchdown scoring type kid because he's an offensive minded guy in basketball. Incredible athlete. But he can bend the edge. I've seen him play the edge like 6 snaps, and all 6 snaps he got to the quarterback. So let's let Texas figure it out. I know Jeff Banks loves him. I know tight end is something that they've discussed, but I think it's more of a get him on campus and they figure it out later. But just to give you a heads up, Ryan, if you'll check us out at InsideTexas.com soon, I'll have you an update on Mr. Chris Whaley Jr.
What did we say last Friday, Justin, about Atlanta's finest? He's a football player, man. Just get him in the program and he'll find a spot he's gonna be really good wherever you put him.
And they got a good safety over there. Dre Simmons, 2028. Texas likes him. Texas is in the mix there as well. It's not just Mr. Whaley. Dre Simmons, remember that name.
There you go, Dre Simmons. Atlanta puts out some good talent year in and year out.
Made a good point. The longer this, I'm telling you, that's it right there. The longer this thing is low, the better. Like that's it. It really is. He's right.
All right. Artistically had a couple of games I thought he wanted us to check on. Here's the first one. Here we go. Anyone to watch in the North Crowley and Alito game? I feel like North Crowley's going to have some dudes to watch. Alito as well.
Yeah. North Crowley's got Champ Mays, Demarion Mays, wide receiver. He could be a wide receiver. He could be a tight end. He is a take. Simple as that. Texas really, really likes him. Champ's been on the radar for a minute. He's been on campus for probably a dozen times already. Big fan of his. Turtine's little brother is also, I believe, playing tight end for North Crowley as well. For Alito, they had some move-ins. I can't give you any names right now, but I do know that they have got a crop of athletes that's coming up in their younger. They've always had strong athletes. I think Alito really kills you with numbers in a sense, but they actually have some like twitchy athletes coming up. And so that's something we want to pay attention to and always be on the lookout for.
Well, there you go. And now he's asking DeSoto and St. Thomas.
Oh, DeSoto. Look, DeSoto has my favorite defensive lineman in the state. Probably the country. Maybe the world. I'm a big Kadarian Redmond fan. Big Juicy. Listen, I think that kid has more upside than anybody in the state of Texas. I think that kid is holding a winning lottery ticket. I think he's going to be a first or second round talent. Like that's how good I think Big Juicy Redmond is. St. Thomas, is that Houston St. Thomas, or is that like St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida? Because those are Joe Cook's school and a school Joe Cook would never attend.
I got to see if I would assume Houston, but you never know because
I don't think it's Houston. But I could be wrong. But I don't think if it's that private school. Okay. It's Florida. Okay. I was about to say.
Okay.
The private school, St. Thomas in Houston, that would have been ugly, buddy. That would be bad. But and that makes more sense. St. Thomas Aquinas, let me tell you right now, I haven't looked at their roster. They have D1s, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked.
It's why it's a much more appropriate matchup for DeSoto there. Absolutely. Justin, anybody else? I mean, we killed it on this. You killed it, brother. As always, bringing the goods here. Whether it be in state, out of state, whether it's Texas commit, not a Texas commit. Any other more gospel, rather, you want to drop on the horns?
Man, just come see us at InsideTexas.com. Really, we're so close to game day. We're Sam Ellinger days away from Texas football. We're almost in the single digits, and that's when it gets real for me. I used to be a big countdown guy, like 99 up to 1, and that sort of wore off in the last 10 years or not. I think Joe and I probably did that 20 different ways and had fun with it. I don't pay attention to it till the single digits. When we get down to single digits, it's getting real. And so right now, that's the best time to come to Inside Texas. We have the best intel when it comes to practice reports, scrimmage reports, positions, injury updates, offensive lines getting shuffled. Like, this is the time to come hang out with us. It really is such a fun time. We have an incredible community. I swear we have the best members on our board. I've seen other boards. Ours are so much better. I love these guys. Come see us. Come hang out. That's what's next. Texas is I'm gonna be on the road again, checking in on some football practices, checking in on a couple games. Cord's gonna be on the road doing his thing in between his flag football managerial skills. Come see us at Inside Texas. We're gonna be on the YouTube channel, and we're gonna have a lot of fun this year, I believe.
And there you go, man.
Also, we can also say Arch Manning called himself chubby, and that he's a professed liar at golf. So Arch Manning might be 45 years old.
I'm just going to say, guys, if you missed Arch's player availability, go check it out. But Juice Cryer was maybe the talk of the day just from how conscientious, how cerebral that man is. And it was good to kind of pick his brain a little bit and find out more about the Texas transfer player, because Justin said it earlier, everybody needs a Juice Cryer out of the portal. There are not that many of them. Texas definitely, in my opinion, found a hit in Juice Cryer. It was fun to listen to, so go check it out. Speaking of Texas linebackers, he says it's Sam Ellinger days away. I'm old school. I'm Waco High's finest. Derek Johnson days away. You gotta give the DJ a little bit of love there. Justin, we appreciate you.
I bow to DJ.
There you go, man. We love you, man. We thank you. You guys, we love you all as well. And that's why we're going to see you over at InsideTexas.com, taking advantage of that 75% off fall camp sale. A lot of you taking advantage. We appreciate that. We love you guys. We'll see you on the board. And we really appreciate y'all watching Inside Texas. Have a blessed rest of your Tuesday. Thank you.